For market gardener Alan Fong, it's not enough to simply grow vegetables. You've got to follow through.
Hi, ma'am. How are you? We're promoting baby cars today. Would you like to try
He's
some?
there for all stages
Yeah.
of the
These
business,
are receipts.
meeting consumers and giving them recipes,
Just cooking some bok choy here today. So they're nice and clean.
as well as managing the produce from seed to processing and marketing. From that tradition is a third-generation market gardener, Alan Fong, who brings a modern vision to his work. He sees beyond the popular image of the job. Many would think that it's dirty, back-breaking slog with long hours where fortunes are always at the whim of the elements, pests and diseases and fickle markets.
It is all of those things, but it's actually a great business. We got a lot of challenges out there in terms of the types of varieties we grow, and it's so rewarding to find vegetable lines or salad lines or whatever that we find that people grow to like, and they love to come back and explain to us and tell us that how they enjoy those vegetables.
Alan harvests about 500 hectares of vegetables every year. Some are grown on family-owned property and the rest on leased land around the district. Products range from onions for export to the United Kingdom to cauliflower, broccoli and many varieties of lettuces. Alan watches food trends among consumers very carefully.
People are looking for different types of tastes, different types of looks, so make things more interesting.
They're going back to home gardening too, aren't they? Is that bad for your business?
No, I think it's a wonderful thing. I think it's a good education thing that people have got back into to teach their children as well. And I think they will actually appreciate that when they have their home gardens. They can appreciate what a good vegetable is, you know, as long as it's fresh and tastes good. And that actually enhances what we do.
The Fong operation employs 20 staff and another team of 15 contract labourers who work almost full-time. The farm management is shared with Alan's younger brother, Colin. Both men started out on the family land as teenagers.
Okay, a couple guys come down, we'll start loading, eh? As we go down. It's pretty hard to do it by yourself, actually, because of the growing, the supervising, and all the organising to plant and all that, so it's quite hard. With my brother, Alan, he takes half the pressure and I take the other half, which he maintains doing the drilling, the seeding, the planting and that, and I look after the harvesting and marketing. And that's enough to keep us going on our plate, actually. Yeah, there's a lot to do there. So we don't have a dull moment at all.
See, the babies are just perfect. I want to get them out there as when they're in perfect condition. Right. So I'll catch you later this afternoon. Okay, see you.
The current matriarch of the Fong family is Alan's mother, Ao Xinguo, who still lives on the original block of land bought by Alan's grandfather in 1960.
She's just turned 80 last year. She's quite a smart lady. She's probably been a bit of my mentor, actually, as I was growing up, because with Dad being ill in the early days, it was a bit tough on her.
Alan, his two brothers and two sisters, lived in an army hut on this site for many years because the Fongs were very poor. Later they built this house. Colin lives not far from the office, a few hundred metres away. The office was Alan's house until he built a new home overlooking his mother's place.
My grandfather came out in the 1930s as a laundryman. He managed to save up enough money and he sponsored my dad out. And he came out as a 16-year-old.
Looking at her passport photo, Alan's mother remembers how relieved she was to join the Fong family in New Zealand after the revolution in China.
In China, when I was 3 years old, she said she had to piggyback me, and they made her kneel down on stones, pebbles, as a punishment because she was a landlord or family of a landlord. Yeah. So when she came here, she felt she had freedom. So even though we were poor, she was very happy.
Tell me about Alan and how he first started as a market gardener.
You see, at the age of 4, she remember, they were planting lettuce by hand. He came out to the farm and worked there, and she was surprised he was strong enough to even lift a case of the lettuce, the seedlings, onto the truck.
Are you proud of where Alan is now?
He said, oh, he's very hard-working. He said, I'm happy, but I don't want him to work so hard.
Next morning reveals that the matriarch doesn't know when to stop work either. All the same, she has reason to ask Alan to slow down because of a health scare 2 years ago.
I had a paralysed tongue, right? I couldn't talk. I was talking, but I kept on biting my tongue. And I actually lost my memory for about 3 months, my short-term memory, so that wasn't too pleasing. But it was in hindsight, I was really lucky in that sense. Going back to the sort of the regime I was keeping, or the hours I was working, you know.
What sort of hours were you working?
Big hours, yeah.
Back in Pukekohe, it soon becomes obvious that Alan has more on the go than just his market gardening operation. 9 years ago, he invested in a large new venture producing mesclun and ready-to-eat salads.
It's a trend that I saw that was happening all over the world. New Zealand was lagging a little bit behind in it, and so with my good friends, or my partners now here, we forged ahead and developed into this packaged salads, which we thought would go really well here in New Zealand. For me, I'm probably in exit mode. I've probably done as much as I can do here now, and my partners will probably carry on and carry the business forward.
Alan is showing the same reluctance to withdraw from another venture he started with another partner. The large nursery at Glenbrook, established 4 years ago, now supplies many local growers with seedlings. He took this opportunity because as a grower he wanted more consistent quality and a reliable source of supply for his plants.
Oh yes, they're looking quite sharp.
Yes.
Very clean.
Yeah, 3 weeks old.
Until his health warning, Alan envisaged a vertically integrated business, giving him control from seed through to marketing. But he's gradually moving back to his core business as a grower. Is it hard to extricate yourself?
Absolutely. I actually love this business and put a lot of passion in it. I've met some very wonderful people here who are very good at what they do, and they've become personal friends as well. And it will be sad when I go, but at this stage in my life, I realise that I have to, reprioritise and maybe balance the work-life balance a little bit better.
Another important member of Alan's team is the general manager, Kirit Macon, who comes from an Indian family of market gardeners in Pukekohe.
Any luck from Gary at all or not?
Unlike their forebears, the current generation's most used tool is the cell phone rather than a hoe. Between calls, Alan and Kirit work together on planning what varieties they'll grow, testing out new products and marketing.
The seed companies come to us with various options on what we're using currently, and we'll then put it into a trial phase, which will mean probably trialling over a period of 2 to 3 years.
Kirit usually does all the assessments and selects the varieties, and when he's finally made his decision, I usually override them and cancel them all out. No, he usually gets his way, but it is quite a process, and I think just like most production units out here is always a trial and error. We're always trying to look for improvements and new products.
You must have to decide how many acres of broccoli and how many acres of this. How do you do that, Kirit?
We sort of work backwards from what we know, what our production base is, so what we need to produce to supply our customers. Some of it does get a bit of a jigsaw puzzle in the sense of crop rotations to try and eliminate disease issues and stuff like that, so that can be a bit of a nightmare.
We start slowly going back to our old rotation methods that we used to have. Just producing product also in its season instead of trying to have a year-round supply of something that's very difficult to do. We think it makes sense. When product is in its season, it's the best quality and the best tasting, and it offers the best value as well.
The elements are always a major challenge. Too much rain, not enough. Cold weather, dry weather. They all matter when you're growing vegetables. Alan says pesticides are safer and used more sparingly than they were some years ago, but it's an area for disagreement between him and Kirit.
If we've got disease pressure, we've got to put something on to protect our crop. If we don't do that, we won't effectively have anything to sell. So it's a two-edged sword, really.
However, in this coming year, we are going to persevere with a couple of our crops that will be absolutely pesticide free. So we're hoping in the year 2010 we'll be launching a couple of our products with pesticide free stickers on them, and we're pretty confident that we can do that.
Can you grow them?
Yeah, well, we're working on it. We're working on it.
Alan is on the job himself most days, although he spends a lot of time coordinating activities and communicating with clients. It takes dual phones and dual languages. The office is the hub for coming and going of produce to Coolstore and markets. Alan supplies retailers and wholesalers with fresh produce on a daily basis. It's where his wife Loretta works, long hours, just like her husband.
He's all over the place, and, you know, he's all here and there, and I don't know. So he does. He needs to slow down, delegate the work out, have a rest, and spend time with the family and his wife.
Alan believes it's not enough to produce good vegetables. You have to let customers know about them as well.
Okay, so just down there called Just Because.
Alan Fong's market garden has its own small factory for washing and packaging vegetables. Most of the boutique lettuces he's processing now were once available only for restaurants.
I think they're just superior in sometimes their taste and their appearance. And these are baby cos, for instance, and these varieties that we grow are super sweet and super crunchy.
He always puts as much gusto into promoting as he does growing.
They're little miniatures, but when you slice them open, they break open into these beautiful little baby leaves.
What about these little frilly ones?
Oh, these are what we call our baby butters. They look like a floret type lettuce. The good thing about these lettuces is that you actually don't need to use the whole product. You can actually pluck them as you need it.
He's also testing the market with miniature heads of broccoli known as Bella Verde or slender stems.
This is one of our boutique lines, the sweet stem broccoli. We looked at these a couple of years ago and we thought, wow, what a great opportunity for this to be developed for the hospitality industry. They plate really well, they look really attractive, and it's a product where you can actually eat the whole stem.
Sometimes Alan's crops make a culinary detour to the office kitchen for testing.
Yeah, I just do trials here to try and see the best way to demonstrate in the store sometimes, to make it simple. Put a bit of garlic in there. Just need you to assess some of the slender stems here. We'll try that. Stir-fried them after a quick blanch and tell me what you think. Do you think they'll... Tell me what you think. Just try a bit of Asian flavour in there, just to see if it'll go down well.
No, tastes good.
Afternoon, ma'am.
At weekends, Alan is often found making direct contact with consumers at shops, field days and food shows.
Tell me what you think. And Ryan, maybe he's cooking Shanghai pak choy. So
Alan's son, Ryan, is the ideal person, having trained as a chef, to help with the demonstrations.
We're trying to go down the path where we're growing our product for taste rather than just looks alone now. And sometimes people just bypass our products. So I'm really trying to educate them in the flavours that we can offer.
Oh, it's goodbye.
I've learned that sometimes what we do grow and try and market it there are not always what the customer wants. And I've also learned that educating a lot of our customers really helps.
If you've got gin at home, you can add gin.
Yeah.
Gin?
Gin?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Or you can add water.
Gin.
You got plenty of gin? That's good.
So what's Ryan doing? Telling people to put gin in the recipes?
It's a home recipe that, and it really helps enhance, especially in Asian cooking, like helps hold the colour and the gloss.
After 3 generations of market gardening, Alan wonders who'll succeed him. He accepts it won't be Ryan.
I would have to say it's the long hours. I see my dad works really hard all the time. Wakes up at like 3 in the morning and comes home at 9 o'clock at night, so doesn't have a lot of time to spend with us, but that is one of the reasons why I didn't want to go into farming.
Maybe there's some way you can combine the cooking and the market garden.
Yeah, well, he actually had the idea of starting up a little cafe, and I thought that was a really good idea, so I thought I'd travel around for a few years, gain some experience first, and then, yeah, come back and open a restaurant with my dad or a cafe.
One hope for succession is Colin's son, Alan's nephew, Daniel, who's very keen on farm work.
He would get up every morning, like at 5 o'clock with his dad and start work every morning. From a very young age, he was so interested in everything we had, like he would, instead of asking for toys or anything, he would like the latest pair of gumboots.
Although Daniel is only 13, he's already adamant that the farm should not be sold.
Just like to help in the farm because my dad does it and it's through the family.
Would you like Alan's job when you grow up?
Yeah, something like that.
Why do you want his job?
Oh, because it's better than Dad's.
It's better than Dad's. Even though he's a very young age, I would love to, we said that if he does want to come in, I would mentor him as best I can and make sure that he got a good education and went to something like an Lincoln or Massey so that he have a good grounding, a good foundation, something that Colin and I didn't have actually.
In the meantime, you seem to have an awful lot of irons in the fire. What is the next one?
There's not that many irons in the fire. I've sort of, well, a lot of them are disappearing and we're probably approaching a lot more relaxed lifestyle, I hope. But hopefully one day, not too distant future, I'd love to do something a bit more relaxing and something quite enjoyable. I really enjoy contact with the public, and so I would like to maybe one day here in my home spot here, this little wee farm that we have here, I'd like to turn it into maybe an organic pick your own and open a nice cafe up here. So sometime in the future I'm looking forward to doing that, something quite enjoyable. And even in a little bit more in the future, if my son Ryan likes to come and help me and assist me a little bit in that and running or starting up a cafe, that would be most enjoyable.